What up, meal prep fans? It's Bobby, and a lot of you guys have been requesting keto meal prep, which is basically high fat and low or no carb meal prep. So you know I'm gonna hook you up with the tastiest and best keto meal prep YouTube has ever seen, yo, because we are making lamb shoulder chops. Spice crusted, cooked to perfection, and served with a Greek yogurt lemon sauce, and a Mediterranean crunchy green bean salad with olives, red peppers, and a lemony tahini dressing. So if you love meal prep that's all about badass food and sweet recipes, subscribe to my channel, you guys. I have new meal preps every Friday morning, and I want you to join the Flav City community. In front of me, I have 5 lamb shoulder chops. They're not lamb chops, they're from the shoulder. They have a lot more fat, which means a lot more flavor. And when you cook them, they get all juicy and all the juices run down your chin, and it's so good. Before we cook them though, I'm gonna make a spice crust because that's officially my middle name now, and it's gonna add an insane amount of flavor to these guys. So, first let me grab some smoked paprika because no spice rub can be official without a little bit of smoked paprika from Bobby. Let's go in with a teaspoon and a half of ground cumin, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And right now you're thinking, did that guy just put cinnamon in his spice rub? He ain't making brownies, is he? Well, no, but because it's Mediterranean, a little bit of cinnamon is very common. It also tickles your taste buds in all the right places and will add a lot of flavor. I'm gonna reach for some salt and give a generous pinch all over the chops. And these are thick cuts, so be a little aggressive with the salt. It'll make the lamb taste even better. And then pinch over about half of the spice rub. And then use your hands to rub that spice rub into the lamb. Show that lamb who's boss, yo. Now when I flip the lamb over, these cuts have a bone in here. But because there's a bone and because there's a lot of fat that you can't eat, you can easily double this recipe and do 2 chops per serving if you're a hungry man or a hungry girl, or if you're training and want a lot of protein. If you do that, I'll put the macros down below also. Now I'm gonna treat this lamb just like I would chicken or steak, meaning you can't cook it cold, because if you do that, it's gonna cook unevenly and be really tough. So I'm gonna put this to the side for 20 minutes. It'll come up to temperature, and that marinade is gonna go to work. In the meantime, we can make the Mediterranean crunchy green bean salad with a lemony, creamy tahini dressing, and it is as good as it sounds. I have a pot of boiling water ready to go here. Before I add the green beans, I'm gonna add salt. That's your only chance to actually season the green beans when they're cooking. And I'm actually not using green beans because the French cousin of green beans, called haricots verts, is better, because obviously anything French is très bien. You can get these everywhere. I buy them at Trader Joe's. They're even more flavorful and even more tender than regular green beans. But if you gotta use the regular green beans, you do it. Add 1 pound of beans to the pot.
What does haricots verts mean?
Who cares? It's French. All right, these guys cook for exactly 2 minutes, so set your clock. All right, the beans are ready. I wanna drain them immediately over the kitchen sink, and I also made an ice bath with tons of ice and cold water, and now I'm gonna put the green beans in the ice bath. Now the reason why I'm putting these guys in an ice bath is I wanna stop the cooking process immediately. That is the key to crispy, crunchy green beans. If you don't do that, all the internal heat inside them will keep cooking them and make them mushy, and Bobby don't like mushy beans.
Nobody likes mushy.
But I don't know, maybe they do.
Maybe.
Yes, like Desi said, if you like mushy beans, skip this step. Huh? See?
That sounds crunchy, babe.
I am a crunchaholic. And now it's time to add a ton of keto-friendly, tasty poppin' fixins. I'm gonna start with about 2 or 3 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds and 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds. The seeds are not only gonna feed my crunch addiction, they're also gonna add a great amount of healthy fat. Next, I'm gonna grab a few tablespoons of Kalamata olives that I finely sliced, salty, briny, and fatty, and then a 1/4 cup of orange pepper that I finely diced, half a cup of cherry tomatoes sliced, and then to get a little bit of spice in there, but not too much, I'm gonna grab a red hot chili pepper and finely slice this guy. If you stop right before the seeds start, so right about here, it's not as spicy. Those seeds are crazy spicy. Now normally I would dress this guy in just olive oil, but because we're doing keto, I'm gonna make it even fattier and nuttier and delicious by adding about a 1/4 cup of tahini paste. This stuff is sesame seed paste. It's rich, nutty, earthy, and adds crazy amounts of flavor. So let's scoop in about 3 tablespoons of this, a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil to make it nice and fruity. And this is Mediterranean style, so you know there's gonna be a lemon involved and there's gonna be a heck of a lot of zesting involved. Let's go with about the zest of half a lemon. It's a big lemon. Gonna cut the lemon in half and add the juice of half a lemon. Whoa, juicy. Whoa, oh my God. That was the juiciest lemon this year. I got the camera and Desi's eye.
I have to clean the lens.
Shake in a bit of parsley, add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a few cracks of black pepper. Now give this dressing a mix up, and what you'll see immediately is that it's way too thick. That tahini is thick stuff. So I'm gonna stream in just enough water to make it loose and pourable. That looks perfect. Now, if you want this salad to last you 5 days, don't dress it until the morning of, because once you dress it, it will wilt the green beans and it's only gonna last about 3 days. My wife and I are gonna crush this in that amount of time. So to dress it, I always season the salad with a pinch of salt because all the veggies in there are bland, and a few cracks of pepper. And then only add enough dressing to coat the salad. You don't want it swimming in the dressing, just kind of bathing or chillaxing. Then I'm gonna grab some tongs and mix it up. Look at those colors, you guys. Those are popping. I'm going commando, restaurant style. My hands are probably cleaner than the restaurants, just so you guys know. Like, he said the steak is too salty. Now this salad is looking awesome, but the only thing that can make it better is increasing the fat, increasing the flavor, and a little bit of salty Mediterranean kick by shaking in some crumbled feta cheese, about a 1/4 cup. You guys, insane flavor and crunch going in there. I love that they're all keto-friendly vegetables, especially the green beans. So you gotta stay away from starchy veg like potatoes and squashes and beans. Way too much carbs, but who the heck even needs those when there's so much action going on there? Now you guys, check out these lamb shoulder choppers. They've been sitting at room temperature for 25 minutes, and see how that spice rub has really seeped down deep into the lamb. That is gonna create so much flavor I can't even explain to you until you try it for yourself. Now the key to making these crusty as can be is preheating a large cast iron pan. I'm gonna do that for 2 minutes, and while it's doing it, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of veggie oil. And I like to hold them down for about 2 or 3 seconds. That way the bottom of the lamb makes maximum contact with the pan. We're gonna let that go for 5 minutes. Don't touch it during that 5 minutes, and then wait till you see what it looks like. All right, let's flip these guys over. Beauty. Look at the crust on those guys. They're officially crustified. Now, if you notice, I didn't put all 5 in the pan at one time, because if I did that, it would overcrowd the pan, drop the temperature, and they wouldn't get that crust. So I'm gonna do it in 2 batches. I'm also gonna take my splatter guard, which is a lifesaver when you're cleaning in the kitchen, put it over the top. If you guys don't have one of those, I'll put a link down below on Amazon. You need it, it'll make your life easier. All right, 6 more minutes. Check that out, you guys. Insane flavor. Oh, let's get all the choppers out of the pan. Looking proper. Now, keep the pan on, add another tablespoon of veggie oil, and then immediately go in with the 2 remaining lamb chops. Now those guys go another 5 to 6 minutes on each side. If you were gonna devour these lamb choppers right now, and I couldn't blame you, let them rest for 7 minutes, because all the heat inside is really boiling the juices. And if you cut into them right now, those juices will leak all over your plate. The meat's gonna be dry and tough, and that would be a damn shame after all the work we put in. I'm gonna push these aside. And while the second batch is going, let's make the Greek yogurt lemon garlic dipping sauce. To start the sauce, I'm gonna reach for some Greek yogurt, and do yourself a favor, buy the whole fat Greek yogurt. Fat is good, fat is flavor, don't be afraid. And then scoop in about a half a cup. To be honest, I always say fat is flavor, and even if you're trying to lose weight, it's all about portion control. You could eat this meal, don't have 2 chops, maybe have 1, but as long as you're eating clean, whole foods that you make and you know what's inside of it, portion control, homemade food, and working out, I honestly think you're made in the shade. So to this, I'm gonna add some garlic, but I'm gonna do my favorite tip ever. I'm gonna take the microplane grater here and just leave the paper on the garlic and grate it back and forth. And the paper protects your fingers, and on the other side is just creamy grated garlic. Add the zest of half a lemon and the juice of half a lemon. I'll try not to get you guys this time. A couple teaspoons of freshly chopped dill. Dill, yogurt, and Greek food are BFF, yo. A teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil for that creamy fat. A quarter teaspoon of salt, and a couple cracks of pepper. And then mix it all up. That was good. You always want to check for seasoning, because if it's not seasoned properly now, when you put it on the lamb later on, it's not going to have the right flavor. So I want this to be nice and lemony. Ooh, that is popping from the citrus. Just the right amount of garlic to kind of creep up on my tongue. The dill is nice. That's great. Let's wait for these chops to come out, and we can finally build our plate and our containers. Just use one of these probe thermometers. They're perfect for meat. As long as it's at 150 or 160, they're done. If you guys don't have one of these, I'll put a link down below. They're great for thick cut steaks, roasts, really big chops. They're really useful. All right, the last chops are done. Take a peek inside my cast iron pan, you guys. It is demolished. It's dirty, it's crusty, there's burnt on bits. A lot of you guys have been asking how I clean and maintain my cast iron pans to make them look so shiny and new. I'm gonna make a video as soon as I'm done with this one, showing you exactly how I do that, so stay tuned. In the very near future, I'm gonna hook you and all your cast iron pans up. All right, I got my glass meal prep containers and some seriously money-looking keto meal prep that is making me so hungry right in front of me. First, we'll plate up a nice portion on a plate. I'll grab some of the Greek yogurt sauce and put a fancy swoosh down like they do on TV. Then place the lamb chop right on top of that. And then place some of the green beans on the side of the plate. That looks good. And to garnish, I'll do a little bit of lemon zest because I'm not obsessed for no reason. And then a little bit of dill. Now check that out, you guys. Ain't that pretty? Sometimes it's just fun to make food look damn sexy like that. Let's put that aside and build the containers for the week. I'm gonna cut the chop in half. Oh, look at that. Perfectly cooked, nice and juicy. I'm gonna stack that in the container and then put some of the green bean salad right next to it. Meal prep containers are done and looking on point. The only thing left to do is for me to tuck into that lamb because it's calling my name. You guys, that lamb is crazy juicy, has so much flavor from the spice crust. That fat running through there has so much flavor, and the lamb is cooked perfectly because you want lamb shoulder chops to be cooked through medium and just a little pink in the middle. That is some bomb keto meal prep. The recipe is down below, including the storage and reheating instructions. Make sure you guys check out 2 more videos below me for some epic meal prep. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week like I always do. Until then, #keep on cooking.